Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, September 10th at around 10:15 in the morning, and I just wanted to upload another video just to touch base with everybody, a few announcements that I have, and wanted to talk about next steps in the course. So first of all, we have a few new folks who have joined us that were late additions to our course, and so please head back to the introduction posts. They've all introduced themselves, and so you'll meet a few new students if you head back to that initial week one introduction discussion post area. So welcome to you all that have joined us since my first video. Second thing, I wanted to say great job. You all have been engaging with the material really well, and I'm proud of the improvements that everybody made from week one's discussions to week two's. So you all really are starting to ask the tough questions, talk about the why, talk about the how, and have really gone above and beyond just summarizing, what you've read. So really great job on your discussion posts. I wanted to talk about some of the questions that came up a bit from the medical anthropology conversations. So first off, I was pleased that a lot of you cited some of my favorite anthropologists. So Nancy Shepherd Hughes, one of them, Byron Good. Both of them have worked a lot in the field of psychological anthropology, mental illness, and so I was thrilled to learn about some new anthropologists, but also see some of the real leaders of the field that you guys brought up. One question that somebody asked or said that it might not be the most exciting thing for them. One student mentioned only doing kind of more qualitative, descriptive work as an anthropologist. And I just wanted to take a minute in this video to say that there are a lot of anthropologists, myself included, who do rely on statistics and who do gather quantitative data. Nancy Shepherd Hughes, I think 2 or 3 of you chose her as your anthropologist for Sunday. She does a lot of work like that. She collects narratives and, conducts interviews and does a lot of qualitative work, but then also brings in census data and collects quantitative data as well. And so many anthropologists, you certainly can use those mixed methods where you use qualitative and quantitative data together. A great ethnography as an example to read about how one would portray that mixed methods data. Nancy Shepherd Hughes, one of her first books is called Saints, Scholars, and Schizophrenics. And it is a book about mental illness in Ireland, in rural Ireland. And so for those of you that want an extra book to read and want to see how an anthropologist would collect and disseminate mixed methods data, that's a great one to check out. So I was happy that a lot of you talked about collaboration. So in the field of community health, hopefully you all are getting the point that you're not working alone, you're not working in a silo. And so, if you're working as a medical anthropologist, as a clinician, as a practitioner of global health, oftentimes you're working in a big group. And so, just so you know, there's a lot of partnerships that go on. I have oftentimes partnered with physicians to do my work, partnered with folks more on the clinical side. And so, that's really when the best community health work comes out, is when you form these great interdisciplinary partnerships. Let's see, somebody else brought up the point about learning another language. And yes, that is very important when we talk about global health, when we talk about addressing these community health issues on a global scale, is that, this does become easier if you know the local language. So that is certainly something that would help you as a researcher, as a clinician working abroad. I spent many summers. Cornell has a great language learning institute where I learned Nepali. And that certainly is something that hopefully you're excited to put some time in, because it would only make your understanding of the local nuances, how culture and health relate, intersect that much easier to acquire. So, and you'll see that when this week we're starting to read our first ethnography. So it's our first case study. And you'll see that Emily Yates Dorr, I mean, she's fluent in Spanish. You'll see as you're reading this just how much that helped her as a researcher to be fluent in the language. So for Wednesday, tomorrow, you all are required to read up to page 52. And I just wanted to again say that oftentimes the introductions to these ethnographies are pretty dense. So there's a lot of theory in there, a lot of context setting, but don't get discouraged. If you don't know some terms, if you don't know some of the theories, I encourage you to look them up, but just keep going. And once you get to chapter 1, she'll be on the ground in Guatemala, really starting to share with you some of the stories that she's acquired while doing her field work. So I think the book will get really fun for you guys, but you just got to get through the introduction. You'll understand kind of how she's setting the stage. So your first discussion posts on this book are due on Wednesday. And then again, you guys have until Friday to discuss with one another so we really get the conversation going. Last week, one of your fellow students pointed out that it's hard to really engage with others if everyone's posting right at the deadline. So hopefully you all got my announcement that even for last Sunday's discussion, you have until tonight to engage with everybody else in your group. So please go back and do that if you haven't already. You'll notice that your discussion scores certainly incorporate both the quality of your post, but also the frequency of how much you're engaging with others. So if you have questions about that, let me know. Also, if you have questions about this ethnography as you're starting out, please shoot me an email and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. All right, so that's for Wednesday. For Sunday, you're going to just keep reading. And then you also have 2 poverty simulators that you'll see on week 3 of the D2L that I want you to engage with. And then there's some discussion questions that relate to those for Sunday. All right, last thing I wanted to talk about on the video is your Global Health Awareness Campaign project. So again, this is your final project for the course. I purposefully don't bring it up too much in the first 2 weeks because it's kind of overwhelming anyway to start a new course. But now I want you guys to start thinking about that. So go back this week to the course resources page. So on the left on D2L, right under the course overview is course resources. And I want you to read about what I'm asking you to do. I have it really briefly up here. I'm going to upload a more in-depth description on that course resources page soon. But you'll see already up there is an example of a project from from a student of mine last year that was very well done. So you can see what the goal is. And I have some tutorials about Adobe Spark up there. And I also have under the attachments how you can activate your Adobe account through MSU. So every student, faculty, staff on campus gets free access to Adobe. So make sure you've downloaded that to your computer. If you don't have a personal computer, the library has, all of these computers have this as well, just so you're getting ready to start that project. You obviously need to get familiar with the software. If you have questions, let me know. I applied for a grant and got the grant through MSU, and that allows our course to have access to 2 student interns at MSU that are Adobe specialists. And so they're the ones that actually created this Adobe Activation MSU attachment that you can find under the course resources page. And they are available to chat with any of you one-on-one to set up your accounts and to help you through the project. And so soon I will introduce you all to them, but if you feel like you need some help right now, let me know and I can hook you up with them. All right, so by next Sunday, September 22nd, is the first part of your Global Health Awareness Campaign project. So if you click on week 4, you'll see that I have a description of what that part 1 is. And so you can read through that. And probably by the end of today, I'll have that entire assignment uploaded on D2L for you. So I don't do that at the beginning of the semester because I didn't want to overwhelm everybody, but it is time to start thinking about that project and start thinking about a topic that you might want to study for the rest of the semester. So anyway, that's it for now. Great job, and I look forward to seeing all of your discussion posts about the first ethnography. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know. And if you're in Bozeman and want to meet on campus, that's always an option. So just email me and we can set up a time to do that as well. All right, everyone, happy Tuesday, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.